Around the world, they drink this beverage in its many exotic forms. Half coffee and half hot milk.
I praise the Lord and keep the faith.
Sipping my macchiato, gotta get my cream up.
I do this for Christ, boy. This ain't for the culture.
Believe the scripture.
Thank you for tuning in to Macchiato's Music and the Scriptures. I'm your host, Martinez. I'm sitting here with a special guest, Mr. Sean Blackshear of First Family Life Allegiance. Sean is a life insurance agent or broker or both.
Both, why not?
Right, both. And we just want to take some time out to teach you all or tell you all the importance of life insurance. With COVID, even before COVID, I mean, listen, it's inevitable. All of us will eventually have to go by the way of the grave. Now, we believe in God that we live a long life, but even when we live a long life, we still going to have to go by that way, and we're still going to need life insurance. Life insurance is, Sean, tell me, what's some excuses that you may have heard that people use for not wanting to get life insurance? Have you heard any?
Oh man, the very number one is always it's too expensive.
Okay.
When you got people that go to Starbucks once or twice a day, and you got people that go to McDonald's and things like that, and the same price as you can have a high life insurance policy. So it's just all in how you look at it.
Right.
And then you got the people that say, well, I'm too young to get it. And, death has no discrimination.
No, it doesn't.
And we're learning COVID doesn't either.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those are two top.
So too young to get it.
Wait. The third one is I can't get covered because they have medical history, medical conditions.
Is that a thing?
For some agents, but, not for me. There's carriers that cover everything.
Oh, yeah. I never knew there was situations where people couldn't get covered.
Oh, yeah. And it depends on the agent and what agencies they work with.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So what is the difference between term and whole?
Yep. So that's the age-old question: should I get whole or should I get term?
Yeah.
So the whole life is probably. In my opinion, it's better, right? So if I talk to a client, I'm usually talking about my whole life first.
Okay.
Because whole life is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to stop the price right there at whatever age you are. So if you get, for example, my children, I bought them all whole life products right now, and it's only like $10-15 a month. Well, when they're 70 years old, it's still going to be $10-15 a month. The price is frozen. It's done.
Yeah.
The second thing is it's going to earn cash value for you. So you can borrow from the death benefit.
And this is the whole. We're talking about whole.
The whole life.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so if you go, we go back to the kids, right? So the way I got the whole life set up is by the time they're 16, it's gonna be like $20,000 in there that they could, borrow from if they wanted to, and there go their first car, right?
Wow.
So you might hear about, using your insurance as your bank. So that is whole life that people are talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so term.
Yeah. So term is you're buying a product for a term. So if you buy, everybody wants $100,000. That's just whenever somebody call me $100,000.
Right.
And when you watch commercials and things like that, or ads, you can get $1 million for $2 a day or something like that.
Yeah.
It's always term.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the reason it's so cheap is because they are saying that, hey, we're going to take a gamble that you're going to die within 30 years. And if you do die, your family wins because you get the family gets the money.
Yeah.
But if you don't die, the insurance company wins because they keep all the money you put in there.
Oh, wow.
Right. So so that's term. But they did create a new product called Return of Premium.
Okay.
It's a little bit more expensive, but what it does is for a term product, if you have it for 30 years and you end up not passing away, they send you a portion of your money back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So people don't. So I don't think a lot of people understand that life insurance in a sense can be a money maker.
Yeah. There is a so you got whole life, number one, right? It's getting you value, but there's a secret product that a lot of agents don't talk about because it don't pay agents a lot of money.
Okay.
Called an IUL.
IUL. What's that?
Yeah. The IUL is a product. It has a portion of investments in it, and a portion of life insurance. And it grows at a much depending on what company you get it with, but they grow at either the same rate or higher than a bank does.
Wow.
And you can outside of them earning like that, they can pay you at a certain age. So again, we'll use my kids as an example.
Yeah.
So my 3-year-old, we put $50 a month in there, and by the time he's 66, there's going to be like $600,000 in there. And when he hits age 66, the product is going to send him a check for $30,000 every year.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's what retirement age. So he get that on top of his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Or once he gets of age and I'm gone, he can also be like, well, I don't want to keep it. Let me just give me the whole $200,000 out and go buy him a house or something.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it could definitely be a moneymaker.
So tell me, how can life insurance work as a mortgage protection for people who have homes?
Yep. So when have you bought your first house yet?
It's this summer.
There you go.
Prayerfully.
There you go. Okay.
Yes,
So I'm gonna touch and agree with you. But the when you buy a house, after you buy the house, your purchase becomes public record.
Okay.
And so after it becomes public record, you're gonna get a slew of letters offering you mortgage protection. Mm-hmm. And they only call it mortgage protection because you're in the mindset of protecting your house and things like that. So the only thing that mortgage protection is, it's just term. That's the only thing it is.
Gotcha.
So you might say, hey, my house is worth $250,000. I want some mortgage protection. If I pass away, then my loved ones don't have to worry about the house having to be paid off.
Okay.
Because of the word mortgage protection, people think it's something spectacular. It's just term.
Just term. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen? It's just term.
It's just term.
It's just term.
That's all it is.
So, what age? I know you were saying one of the excuses that people use is that I'm too young.
Yep.
What age do you recommend that a person get life insurance?
If
they don't already have it on them, I guess if they're parents,
Yeah, if they can, if they're on their own, I would recommend at age 18 because it's super cheap. At age 18, you can get $300,000-$400,000 in a whole life for like $100 a month or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
So if you can, if you can't, a lot of mothers, I tell when their babies are born, we have this thing called $1 million baby.
Okay.
If you set up to where after you have your child, you can do $100 a month, and by the time that the kid is 66, it'll be $1 million in their product.
Wow.
In the IUL.
IUL.
Yeah, and then it'll pay them out. But then if you get it, so prices start to ramp up on you once you hit your in the 50s. So as soon as you hit 50, then you become what's called final expense.
Okay.
And then in the final expense world, the prices.
And what does that mean, final expense?
It's just whole life.
Okay.
It's just the whole life. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a different price level. So the final expense, the product is designed to cover more health conditions.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more expensive. So,
Okay.
but if you get it before 50, it's less health conditions it covers, but it's a whole lot more.
Okay.
A whole lot cheaper.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you were saying some people were saying that they can't get it because of maybe some health challenges or different things like that. So from your experience, is there anything specific that prevents someone from not able to get life insurance?
Yeah. So when clients come to me and they think that they can't get it for some reason, it's always because either AIDS or
AIDS,
okay. or cancer,
okay,
or they're in a wheelchair or they're in a nursing home. All these are knockout for normal insurance carriers. But we can, if they're breathing, we can cover them. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second one is if they're older.
Okay.
So most of the time, most companies after age 85, there's nothing out there, but we still got some people that I have that can go up to age 90.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? There are no excuses. So whatever your health condition is, it doesn't matter. You're able to be covered, and you need life insurance.
That's right.
So tell me this. I know you were telling me off the air that you're pretty much covered in a lot of states.
Oh yeah.
So for people who are listening, maybe all over the world, that's not in the state of Missouri, what states?
Am I licensed?
Yeah.
I am in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Kansas, California, Texas, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Maryland.
Okay, I was going to ask you, are you licensed on the East Coast? Maryland?
Yep,
okay.
Maryland. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. In the process of Georgia right now.
Process of Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear that? So if you are in those surrounding states, those states that Sean Blackshear mentioned, he can get you a policy. So tell me, if people want to speak to you about life insurance and they're not in the state of Missouri or the state of Illinois, how can they get in contact with you? What's that process like?
Yeah, so it's 3 ways. So one, you can call me. You can just pick up the phone and call me. 2, you can DM me on Facebook if that's what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
You can text me. But the last way you can go to my website.
Okay, what's your website?
firstfamilylifeallegiance.com. If you go on there, you can actually schedule an appointment for a time that works for you.
Okay.
And then I'll call you at that time.
Okay. And give people your phone number if they want to speak to you directly.
Absolutely. 314-374-3412. Good for calls or text.
Okay. And give that website one more time.
Yeah, it's www.firstfamilylifeallegiance.com.
So you heard that? It's firstfamilylifeallegiance.com. That phone number again to reach Sean Blackshear is 314-374-3412.
Other thing I'll add is for, COVID has hit people pretty hard in the employment world. So if you find yourself in between careers and things like that, and you have a love for people, then contact me as well, and we can talk career.
Look at that. So listen. See, we came on here to encourage you all to get life insurance. Now we're trying to hook you up with a career as well. So listen, if you things are going on, there is a career also in life insurance policies, in selling life insurance. So so if you want to, but most importantly, we want you to get and purchase life insurance because it is needed.
That's right.
And any other things that you want to do as it pertains to that, if you may feel a passion after talking to Sean, then speak to Sean further. We can he can work some things out for you and get you set up. All right, Sean, is there anything else?
Save your family from the selling chicken plates and the church raffles and oh my God, there's a fee with GoFundMe, but I didn't know that there's a fee. Oh man, save your family from it. If you're my age, I'm 42, you're starting to have that conversation with your parents. What led to me actually getting into life insurance was a conversation with my father. My mama good, mamas take care of stuff.
Yeah.
But my father, he wanted this, his funeral, he wanted to have a red Cadillac with Cardinals dripped. He's a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
All this. And I'm like, okay, where's your life insurance policy? I don't have any. Who's supposed to pay for this? Right. You know what I mean?
Coming out of pocket?
That's right. And now that I'm in my 40s, I'm noticing a lot of people my age are having those conversations with their parents and finding out the same information. So you got to get it to protect your family.
Now, how old are your parents?
My father is 65.
Okay, and 60.
Yeah, mama's in the almost 70.
Okay.
Yeah. But you got to do it, and then if you're in the boat like myself, I want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
People always say, "Well, I'm not trying to make nobody rich." When they say life insurance, well, why not? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I pay, altogether maybe $200 a month for myself. But when I pass away, my family get $400,000. I'm okay giving them one last kiss for $400,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They'll be sad, but once those tears dry and they see that bank, say, "Oh, well, Daddy took care of us.
Let's go party on Dad." You know what I mean?
I heard a pastor say one time. He says, "Listen, when I pass away, he said, I want an old country funeral." He said, He said, y'all can cry and all that, but don't cry for long. Just check the bank and see all that I left for you."
That's right.
He said, y'all just enjoy that money.
That's right.
Get your crying out the way.
Yep.
But after that, enjoy your life.
Enjoy it. That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you coming on and speaking to the people about the importance of life insurance. And again, the number where you can contact Sean Blackshear is 314-374-3412. The website is firstfamilylifeallegiance.com.